What's poppin', everybody? This is the Cartoon Kid, Ray Rawlins, and for this week's edition of New This Week, where we review a new episode that released this week, we're talking about some Mike Tyson mysteries. Season 4, Episode 11, Your Old Man, is what the episode is titled. Now, before we get into this, man, I just want to mention that I've always been aware of Mike Tyson mysteries. Like I've seen hundreds of commercials on Cartoon Network whenever I'm watching like Family Guy or something late night, and I never checked it out. I always kind of wanted to, and this is my first time actually checking it out. But before we get into the episode and we start breaking it down, we're gonna have Mr. Alex Payne give us that episode description. So, Alex, what happens in this episode?
Well, in this episode, Pigeon, who, get this, is a pigeon, um, he's having some health difficulties and stuff. So Mike Tyson and them think about, how long they had him and realize that he's about to die of old age. So they tell him, and Pigeon doesn't take it very well or whatever. So he decides, you know what, since I'm getting old, I'm going to go and reconnect with my child. So he goes to his, I don't know what you would call it, one night stand, ex-girlfriend, whatever, they never really specify, house to meet his child, and realizes that she has twins, and one of the twins is Mike Tyson's Asian daughter. So I'm sure for a long time fans of the show, that was some sort of big giant revelation or something. But yeah, that's the episode. Now, my first thoughts, right, is there's so much wrong with this episode in terms of writing. Like, first of all, so let me ask you a question, right? So they say, and I'm positive you know where I'm going with this. They say that the lifespan of the pigeon is 5 years. So how the hell could he have children at the very least in their late teens?
Right, yeah, major differences. I wanna see, and I can't even say it. Like, go ahead.
And how could the gay ghost, who is a ghost, mind you, drive?
Right. I don't know.
How could Pigeon even have sex with a human? And if he was going to and somehow could get her pregnant, why wouldn't the children have some sort of pigeon qualities, like a mixed breed? They just regular ass humans.
Now, see, and this is probably where us actually viewing this for the first time really is, we're at a big disadvantage here. So I will cover them and say that, when he goes to find the girl, she's like, "Oh wow, you're a pigeon now." So who knows how the hell that happened? I honestly don't know. But to cover them on that front, from the knowledge of what I know of this series just from watching this episode, that he used to be a human back, before all this shit went down. So that's what I'm gonna say.
You know that, or you assuming?
I'm assuming, honestly, because that's what homegirl said. She was like, "Oh, you're a pigeon now?" Like, she was surprised at what happened to him. Like, this dude was actually human. So, meaning that if he was a pigeon back then, she's never seen him in her life. So that's what I take from that. I do agree with you on the whole 5-year thing though with the kids. And I don't know if that's some change that went with him becoming a pigeon. I don't know.
He used to be an adult. I mean, I don't think he used to be a human.
I don't know. We can't say because we don't know. Honestly, we cannot say. But if anything, I will kind of agree with you.
His name is
Pigeon. Yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows?
His name wouldn't be Pigeon.
I'm not gonna harp too long on this because we honestly don't know. Let's get into moments of the episode, though. What are some of your standout moments in this episode?
I don't listen. You said you know me last time, and I said this, but I genuinely don't have any moments for this episode.
Which means?
I do have a moment. That Asian actress was terrible.
Okay.
So my moment is how god awful her voice acting was.
Listen, do you want some Chinese pancakes?
Didn't he call her Japanese when he was walking down the stairs?
I want to say so.
Did he say Asian?
I really want to say so. Um, or he either said Chinese. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But
I, I
I
listen, and I mean, I
go
know this
ahead.
is a review comment, but that's kind of how I feel about this episode in general. I cannot remember a single thing from this episode realistically, and that's not even like right now. Like immediately as it was over, I pretty much forgot almost everything about it.
I do have to say though, at the beginning scene, you see Pigeon over here freaking practically dying, as they say. And this motherfucker's just farting his brains out. I'm like, oh my god, dude, I get you old or whatever. But man, control your booty cheeks. Cause listen, you don't understand. I was motherfucking eating dinner while watching this. Motherfucker had to have me a late night dinner. I got in late. Motherfucking this dude Pigeon think he's just freaking crapping his drawers practically. I'm like, oh come on, man. I mean, and I wanted to say it's Adult Swim. So what can you expect? This is an American cartoon for adults. So obviously there's gonna be farting and potty humor, I guess you could say, in this episode. Mike Tyson, um, I like to say like they make fun of this dude's voice, but I guess you could say I would say sounds like the real Mike Tyson in a sense. He doesn't sound like no wacky play on his voice or anything. No, oh hey man, how you doing? Like I want to say South Park or either Family Guy did a parody of Mike Tyson in a little cutscene. His voice was high pitched as shit. But he
I don't
seems like
know.
a low key chill dude. And the funny thing is, he just did not want to fuck with Pigeon though. He said, man, basically keep him away from him. And like when he went to go do the whole to go see the kid, Mike Tyson like, nah, I'm staying back here, cause they wanted him to go with it. He's like, nah, I ain't going. So Mike Tyson is a really chill dude in this cartoon, which is pretty interesting. Um, I guess we can get into reviews. I'm gonna go first, man. I gotta say, personally, from this episode, like I said at the beginning, I haven't seen anything to begin with this series at all. So obviously, my take on this episode in particular is gonna differ widely from a fan's perspective of the series. Now, the whole purpose of this segment called New This Week is to review a new episode that came out this week for any cartoon, which can open the doors of us checking out some new stuff that we haven't seen before. And that's the purpose of this episode. For those wondering, like, oh, why are you checking this out if you don't know anything about this series? And which is a very valid question. And the reason for us doing that is, just a sample a little bit of everything at the cartoon buffet, if you will. Um, I will
Plus,
say
I feel
this.
like I said before with the Harley Quinn thing, it's like you should be able to tell if an episode is good or not without ever seeing a single episode. Maybe you might not get the story points. Like, for example, with this episode, yeah, we might not be able to feel the same impact that Homegirl is Pigeon Daughter like a long time fan would. But if the episode overall has good quality, good story building, good jokes, good shit like that, we shouldn't have to be watching the series to know it's a great episode.
No, and you're right. You're 100% right. But I feel that that can differ, honestly. I really feel that can differ depending on the series. Yeah,
Like I said, it could help
this
you
was what.
connect to it, and
No, of
maybe you could
course, of
understand the
course.
story better.
What would you say
But
this was, like a 20-minute
yeah,
episode?
no, this was only 8 minutes.
Really, was it? I'm not even gonna lie, it did feel like
Yeah,
20. It did feel like 20. But I will say, and
honestly,
I
to me, it
wanted,
felt extremely short, which I'm very glad of.
and see, I guess you can already tell where our reviews are going. Like I said, me personally, I'm not a big fan of the series. So this episode didn't connect with me as it would a normal fan. However, I will say this. Storyline wise, I can see how it could be good to a fan. For me, actually just coming in on this episode, not knowing anything about the series, not knowing anything about the episode in general, I don't want to say I was necessarily lost, but I just wasn't feeling it, man. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know the basic premise of Mike Tyson's mysteries or anything like that. Do they go on like a different adventure, a different quest each episode? Who knows? Like in this quest, he had to go find his ex, which I don't even remember how he ended up doing that. He just what happened? She just ended up staying at the same house for God knows how many years. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of plot holes, like you said, a lot of writing points that definitely need improvement on. Um, and I want to say time constraints could definitely play a big role in this too, but I wouldn't say so because everything to me leading up to the payoff of the episode really felt like it was needed. Obviously, you need to see that Pigeon was dying. Perhaps they spent too much time on the whole setup and whatnot, and him admitting that, oh yeah, I have a secret child that nobody knows about and whatnot. But this episode, to me personally, was not a good one, simply because I'm just a new person coming in on the series. And yeah, I definitely should have watched a different one, and I'm sure you can agree with me on this. But like I said, I can see how a longtime fan of the series, a person who's been watching this since episode 1, can enjoy it. Therefore, I'm going to be a little lenient and give this episode a 5.5 out of 10. It personally wasn't my cup of tea for obvious reasons, which I stated before. With that being said, I'm going to toss it over to you, Mr. Alex Payne.
Well, I'm gonna go the opposite route of you because, like I said, I truly stand by the idea that if it doesn't matter in terms of quality of the episode, it shouldn't matter if you never watched a single episode before. Like I said, maybe you might not, you know, understand exactly what's happening in certain story points or whatever, but overall you should be able to enjoy the episode. Like, hey, the story told in this episode was done very well, or the
Right, of
jokes in this
course.
episode was really funny and all this other stuff like that. So I don't subscribe to the you have to notice. Like I said, maybe you have to know the series to get certain elements of it, like in terms of like I said, yeah, you would have to be a long time viewer to feel the impact that, okay, that's Homeboy's daughter, and maybe not even that, because they even did a flashback of him talking shit to her all the time. So, and he treated her bad at the beginning of the episode. So even if this was the first episode, I think that still could land the same way.
No, of
So
course, of course. Yeah, okay, okay.
So I'm not gonna give it the leniency of me never watching any of the episodes, because I think, like I said, I guess the Infinity Train is a perfect example. Or realistically, any of the episodes, because a lot of the episodes we reviewed is our first watching of them, and there's a lot of them we enjoyed off of random ass episodes where we wouldn't know any
No, of
better.
course. Absolutely. I'm not even gonna debate that. And like you said, this does not have a fully properly fledged out story. And like I want to give them the leniency of, yeah, they're constrained by an 8-minute time limit, but even then, it's just like it just wasn't. It just didn't have the proper elements of a good story. Like you said, there's so many plot holes in it. It's not even funny. Like the prime example one, fucking pigeons are supposed to live for 3 to 5 years. And you know what? Mike Tyson even said we had him for 3 to 5 years. Now that I think about it. And this girl has
Yeah,
to be, the girl in his house has to be at least what? Would you say, like in her teenage years?
I would say
So,
at the very least 17.
right. So, which is, I mean, I'm no genius, but I'm sure that's a lot more than 3 to 5 years. Okay, I think it's triple that if I'm correct. But that's
And
the
plus, like,
main
cause
one.
it's, well, yeah, no, yeah, but no, but yeah, like I said though, like, so I'm not gonna give it the leniency of me never seeing any of the episodes, because the jokes should still be funny, the
Which they
pacing should
weren't.
still be good, the voice acting should still. Oh, by the way, I just want to mention, is it just me, or did Pigeon sound kind of like Michael from Grand Theft Auto 5? Now it was.
Oh, no. I
It,
would say no, but you bet your ass I'm going to go back and listen again.
he kind of sounds like him. Not exactly. He sounds like Michael after a very rough time. But he sounds like him, and I checked, and it's not the same guy. Though.
No, no, no. I guarantee you it wouldn't be.
I wouldn't have been surprised if it was, because they sound very similar. You're gonna hear when you edit this video, you're gonna hear it. Trust me. But
All right. What's your
um,
rating?
my rating is a nice, solid, big bowl 4.5. I
Honestly,
would
that was better than I thought it would be.
I would have given it a 5, but I feel like the voice acting was terrible. There wasn't nothing really funny at all in it and stuff. Because because I don't see it as offensively bad. That's why I'm not gonna give it anything lower. Like this wasn't no South Park. It didn't feel drawn out and long. It didn't any of that shit. So I think, but because of the voice acting and stuff and the plot holes, I'm gonna take it below that 5, but not by much. So 4.5.
Right. And that's fair. That's 100% fair. So, I guess that's it, man. We just shit it all over this episode.
Hey,
But
listen, they
it
can't
was
all be
called for.
winners, okay?
No, it can't. It can't. Obviously, like
Listen, we just
at
we
least
just we just did a great show with Infinity Train last week, so we had to do a terrible one this week. Maybe next week we'll have
but
a great one.
and see the thing with us, and I can say it for me 100%. Like I honestly don't like giving out terrible ratings, but if they gotta be done, they gotta be done.
Yeah,
And it's just like it had to be done for this episode, and a couple other episodes they had to be done too,
yeah,
of
we got to
different
cover the
series.
whole scope, you know. Like we can't just do the
So
good stuff. We got to do the bad
of
stuff too.
course, of course. I'm glad I only agree to do one review of this. Would I check it out to give it, that break perhaps? But I'm not in the mood to be checking it out now. I'm fucking with some Infinity Train hard. But with all that being said, man, that has been our review for Mike Tyson Mysteries, Season 4, Episode 11, which is called Your Old Man. I'm the cartoon kid, Ray Rawlins, and I give this episode a 5.5 out of 10. He's Alex Payne. He gets this episode a 4.5 out of 10. And that is it, man. This is the Cartoon Kid channel where we talk cartoons and we do it daily, baby. Toss your comments down in the comment box below. Tell us what you think of this episode. Tell us if you liked it. Tell us if you hate it. Or tell us if you have any ideas of shows or episodes that you want us to review. And we be looking at them motherfuckers. So, with all that being said, we will see you when we see you. Peace out, everybody.